Today, I'm going to crack a case that's been fooling the whole world for centuries and still hasn't been caught. The victim? Your own eyes. The suspect? The largest land predator on the planet. A male can weigh up to 800 kilograms, and the biggest one ever recorded was shot in Alaska back in 1960, a full 1,002 kilograms, nearly 2.5 meters from the tip of its nose to its tail. A snow-white, white hunter, the polar bear. And the crime it committed? It isn't actually white. Not one single white hair, not anywhere on its body. Now hold on, don't argue with me just yet. I know the polar bear in your head, glowing white, lying on the ice like a giant breathing ball of cotton. But I promise you, over the next little while, I'm going to take you down through this animal one layer at a time, hunting for where that white is actually hiding. And here's the strange part. Every single layer we peel back, the white disappears again. By the end, I'll show you where that white is really hiding, and it's the last place you'd ever think to look. And once you brush that layer of white aside, the animal underneath is so much more incredible than the white ever was. I'm Dr. Gray Parrot. Welcome to the Animal Truth Lab. Let's open the case. First stop, the fur. A polar bear's coat actually comes in 2 layers. Right against the skin, there's a thick, dense, wool-like underfur, about 5 centimeters long, and its whole job is to keep the bear warm. Over the top of that sits a longer, stiffer, more spread-out layer called the guard hair, about 15 centimeters long. Okay, here's where it gets good. Pick up one of those guard hairs, slip it under a magnifying glass, and you get a shock. It's see-through, completely transparent, and hollow. Each hair, one after another, like a stretch of incredibly fine, clear little drinking straw. There's no white in there, no pigment, no color at all. You don't believe me? Let me tell you a true story. Back in the 1970s, there was a zoo in the United States where one day their polar bears turned pale green. Green polar bears. Now, you heard me right, green. The scientists were stunned too, so they went and looked into it, and what they found was this. A tiny species of algae had moved inside the hollow tube of the guard hairs, right inside, and set up home in there. Because the hair is transparent, from the outside you were looking straight through the tube at the green stuff living in it. The bears themselves were perfectly fine, not a thing wrong with them. Now think about what that tells us. Those green bears basically proved it for us with their own bodies. A polar bear's hairs really are transparent hollow tubes, one after another. They're so see-through that even the color of the tenant living inside is plain to see from the outside. So, the white is not in the hair. Layer 1, the white disappears. Which leaves us with a much bigger question. What on earth are these transparent hollow tubes for? And if the hair is see-through, then where is all that white coming from in the first place? Before I answer that, I have to come clean about something. For years, I used to tell people, and honestly, a lot of scientists used to believe this too, that these hollow hairs work like fiber-optic cables, that they pipe sunlight in, channel it all the way down the tube to the black skin underneath, and warm the bear up that way. Sounds completely reasonable, doesn't it? A clear little tube guiding light inside to heat things up. Hold on, let me go check the data again. Wrong. That whole idea got measured by an actual physicist with real instruments and completely knocked down. He fired light into a single polar bear hair, and here's what he found. Of the light that went in, less than 100,000th of it made it even as far as 1 inch. All the rest got swallowed up by the keratin inside the hair. This hair does not guide light. It is not a fiber-optic cable. Okay, myth busted. So then, what are these hollow tubes really for? There are 2 answers, and let me tell you, both of them are far, far cooler than the fiber-optic story ever was. First job, the hollow is there to trap air.
Think about it. A hair that's empty down the middle means every single hair has a little column of still, trapped air locked inside it. And air is one of the best insulating materials on the planet. Why is your winter puffer jacket warm? Because the down traps air inside it. A polar bear has millions upon millions of these hollow hairs, which means it's wearing a top-of-the-line puffer jacket woven from millions of tiny pockets of air. It isn't warming itself by guiding light at all. It's doing it with all that trapped air, holding the heat tight against its body. And the second job is the one that answers the question you just asked. Where does all that white come from? When light hits these clear, hollow hairs one after another, it gets scattered, bounced around, thrown off in every direction. Light of every color comes scattering evenly back out, all mixed together, and lands in your eye. And your brain gives you one word: white. So that whiteness isn't pigment at all. It's a trick of the light. It's the exact same reason snow is white, the exact same reason crushed ice is white. Snow has no white pigment in it either, neither does ice. They're just scattering light back at you. Which means the polar bear's white, from start to finish, only ever exists in one single place, inside your eyes. And that first job, the hollow, trapping air, just how good is it? Good enough that humans are now copying its homework. In 2023, a team at Zhejiang University took polar bear hair apart to study it and found it's a porous, hollow core wrapped in a dense outer shell. So they built a brand new fiber based on exactly that design, a core stuffed with thousands of tiny air pockets, wrapped in a shell that's both waterproof and stretchy. A sweater woven from it is just 1/5 the thickness of a down jacket and just as warm. It took humans the very latest in material science and an enormous amount of effort to make a single one. The polar bear has been wearing it for free for a few 100,000 years. And if you still don't believe me that the white is really just light playing tricks, let me give you one more piece of evidence. We bring out a special kind of camera, an ultraviolet camera, the kind that captures the ultraviolet light your eyes can't even see. So take a guess. This time, what color does the polar bear turn? Pitch black. Under ultraviolet light, the snow still shows up bright, but the whole polar bear goes black because that keratin inside the hairs soaks the ultraviolet right up. Even this special camera can't find the bear's white because that white was never on its body to begin with. Right, the mystery of the white is solved. It's in the white and it's in your eyes. So now let's brush aside this lying coat of white and see what kind of animal is actually underneath. You part that white fur and the skin underneath is black, pure black. Its nose, its lips, the pads of its feet, those few exposed spots where you can actually see the skin, every one of them black. Why black? Because black absorbs heat. Sunlight passes through that semi-transparent fur, lands on the black skin, and the heat gets soaked up by the skin. Notice that, by the way, it's the skin pulling the heat in, not the hair guiding light down. Those are two completely different things. And beneath that black skin sits a layer of fat 5 to 10 centimeters thick, locking the heat firmly inside the body. A layer of air-trapping transparent fur, a layer of black heat-absorbing skin, a layer of thick fat. Stack those three together, and the bear holds its core body temperature rock steady at 36.9 degrees, about the same as your own body. To pull that off in a place that's cold right down to the bone, that is no small feat. So look at what we've got. A bear that looks like a marshmallow, opened up, turns out to be a precision-built heating machine made of black skin, hollow hair, and thick fat. And this is only the beginning, because there's a far bigger secret hidden inside its name. Its scientific name is Ursus maritimus. And what does that string of Latin actually mean? Sea bear. The sea as in the ocean. The person who named it over 200 years ago saw it in a single glance. This is no ordinary land-dwelling bear. This is a bear of the sea. How so? Well, the polar bear is a master swimmer. The moment it hits the water, it uses those broad, wide front paws like paddles to pull itself forward. And paddling with the front paws is a pretty rare way to swim among four-legged mammals. It can hold its breath and dive for 3 minutes. When it swims, it can keep just the tip of its nose above the surface with its whole body hidden underwater, sneaking up on its prey. And here's the most astonishing part. Scientists have tracked them swimming non-stop for 3.5 days, 3.4 days, covering around 154 kilometers without once climbing out. 3 days! You swim 3 minutes in a pool and you're calling it quits. This animal can swim for 3 straight days in freezing seawater. And those paws are genuine multi-tools. A single front paw can be 30 centimeters across, bigger than your entire face. Between the toes, there's a little bit of webbing. Out on the ice, those big paws work like snowshoes, spreading the bear's weight out so it doesn't sink in. The instant it hits the water, those same paws turn into paddles. The soles of its feet are even furred, both for warmth and for grip. And on every toe sits a curved claw that can't be pulled back in, made specifically for hooking into the kind of slippery, impossible-to-grip prey it hunts. So how does this sea bear actually hunt? Let me start with something you probably won't expect. It's the most powerful land predator on Earth, and yet its bite force isn't anything special, because the seals it usually hunts are so much smaller than it is that it simply doesn't need a terrifying set of jaws. Its real weapon isn't brute strength, it's patience. Its signature hunting move, and this might let you down a little when I say it, is waiting. First, it hunts with its nose. The polar bear's nose is the single most powerful organ on its whole body, far more important than its eyes or its ears. Seals have to come up to breathe, so they keep a breathing hole open in the ice. There's a figure scientists love to quote here. A polar bear can smell a seal from a kilometer away. It can even smell a newborn seal pup hidden under a meter of packed snow. A whole meter of snow on top of it, completely invisible to the eye, and the bear can smell it. So it's caught the scent, found the breathing hole, and then what? Then it just stands guard beside it, doesn't move. It can hold that watch for hours on end. Out in the freezing white, it just lies there and waits. And you know what? A polar bear spends 2/3 of its entire life sleeping, lying down, or quietly waiting like this. Its true signature weapon isn't explosive power, it's patience. It waits right up until the instant the seal finally surfaces for air, and only then does it hook the seal out of the water with its forepaw and claws. But it doesn't only wait. Sometimes it spots a seal hauled out on the ice, sunbathing in the distance, and it drops its head low, drops its neck low, presses that giveaway black nose and those black eyes close to the ground, and creeps in, step by silent step. And once it's close enough, it suddenly explodes. That big, normally sluggish machine can hit 40 kilometers an hour in an instant, charging in before the seal can slip back down its awl. And there's one move that's more impressive still. In spring, newborn seal pups hide in little dens tucked under the snow. The polar bear pinpoints one with its nose, walks over silently, raises a front paw, and slams it down hard, smashing through the ice and snow on top and reaching in to grab. A seal's den can be hidden over a meter deep under the snow and ice, which means the heavier the bear, the more force it brings down, and the better it is at breaking through. All that body fat in this one moment turns into a sledgehammer for cracking ice. Once it catches a seal, the polar bear will often eat only the fattiest layer of blubber and then walk away. Why? Because fat carries the most calories. It's the best thing for stockpiling that life-saving layer of fat on its own body. And it's that very fat that lets it go for months at a time without eating. And speaking of months without eating, I want to tell you about the part of this episode I find the most extraordinary of all. The pregnant polar bear mother. In autumn, she comes ashore, digs herself a snow den, and crawls inside. And don't underestimate that den. Outside, it's a blizzard, dozens of degrees below zero. But inside, on her body heat alone, it's a good deal warmer than the world outside. She stays in that den the entire winter, and there she gives birth, usually to 2 cubs. And a newborn polar bear is unbelievably tiny, just 600 grams, about the weight of a small bottle of water, with its eyes still shut. They won't open for a whole month.
And then comes the most astonishing part of all. From the moment she crawls into that den in autumn, through the birth, all the way until she walks back out with her cubs the following spring, and that stretch can run as long as 8 months, the mother eats nothing at all. No food, no water. She lives by burning the fat off her own body. Her body even takes the waste products of her own metabolism and recycles them, reuses them inside her. Among every mammal we know of, this is one of the longest fasts there is. And she isn't just lying there fasting either. Across those 8 months, she also gives birth and she nurses. How rich is polar bear milk? Right after she gives birth, nearly a third of it is pure fat, rich as heavy cream. She is, in effect, taking the fat off her own body and turning it, mouthful by mouthful, into milk for her cubs. She wastes away, they fatten up. And in that pitch-black den, she keeps in touch with the cubs at her side with a soft little puffing sound. It's called chuffing. On milk this rich, the cubs grow at a tearaway pace. In 3 months, they hit 20 times their birth weight. The sad part is that even with a mother giving everything she's got, out in the wild, only about half of the cubs make it through their first year, which means every single one that survives grew up standing on the fat its mother burned away. Now, you might be guessing, a polar bear must be incredibly power efficient, right? To last that long without food or water, its body has to have some clever energy-saving trick up its sleeve. I used to guess exactly the same thing, and I wasn't alone. Scientists once put forward an idea called walking hibernation, the notion that in summer, when the food runs out, the polar bear flips itself into a low power mode as it walks around, dialing its metabolism right down. Sounds perfectly reasonable too, doesn't it? So what happened? Knocked down again. Scientists strapped measuring instruments onto wild polar bears and actually took the readings, and it was the exact opposite. First, in those bears fasting on shore, the body temperature only drifts down slowly, less than a single degree, no different from any other hungry animal. There's no power-saving switch at all. And second, and this is the brutal part, the polar bear is itself an enormously power-hungry machine. The energy it actually burns is around 1.6 times what everyone had assumed. It is not a power-efficient hunter, it's an oil-guzzling one. That's exactly why it leans so heavily on the seal's high-calorie fat. The moment it can't catch any, its body starts running at a loss. Which raises a question. An animal that eats this oily, this fatty every single day, don't its arteries clog up? A human eating like that would have run into trouble a long time ago. The answer is hidden in its genes. The polar bear actually evolved from the ancestors of the brown bear, and it did it fast and recently. How recently? Recently enough that even now, a polar bear and a brown bear can still produce hybrid cubs together. But in that not very long stretch of time, the polar bear's body got quietly rewritten. It carries a gene that manages blood fat, and that gene has 9 mutations locked into it, mutations that let the bear gorge on fatty oil day after day and still scrub the excess fat out of its blood, keeping its arteries clear. In other words, the polar bear didn't just adapt to the Arctic in its behavior, even its deepest, lowest-level genes were rebuilt around this one thing, making a living on a diet of pure fat.
And here's a little bit of trivia on the side that happens to prove just how much of a sea creature it is. The polar bear eats seals its whole life. Everything from the very top of the ocean's food chain ends up concentrated in its body. Its liver builds up a frighteningly high level of vitamin A, so high that one small bite of polar bear liver is enough to poison a person. Headaches, nausea, and in serious cases, days later, the skin starts peeling off in great sheets. The native peoples of the Arctic have known this for a very long time. They wouldn't even feed that liver to their dogs. In their Inuit language, they call the bear Nanuk, and they hold it as the strongest, most all-worthy being of the far north. When even an animal's liver is poisonous, you start to understand just how thoroughly that ocean rebuilt its body. All right, let's come back to the case we opened at the very start. At the beginning, I told you the polar bear has no white. By now, you know why I dared to say it. Its white isn't in the fur. The fur is transparent, and those rows of hollow tubes are there to trap air and keep the bear warm. It isn't in the skin. The skin is black, and that's there to soak up heat. Even an ultraviolet camera can't catch the white. That whole sheet of white is nothing but light, scattered by one transparent hollow hair after another and bounced back into your eyes as an illusion. Same as snow, same as crushed ice. But brush aside that white that's been fooling you, and every single part of the animal underneath is real. The black skin really is soaking up heat. That coat of transparent fur and that thick layer of fat really are sealing the bear off from a world below zero. Those big paws that work as both snowshoes and paddles, real. And that mother who goes 8 months without food or water, burning her own body down into milk, she is the realest thing of all. It's a black-skinned sea bear living by the trick of the light in the single most impossible place on this planet to stay alive. And that sheet of sea ice beneath its feet is the stage where the whole magic act plays out. The polar bear looks white, but the thing that makes it truly remarkable, that was never the white.
Next time, the lab is taking on a big case, and the accused is a mysterious animal that's been wrongly blamed for almost 100 years. Everyone says it's a dirty mouth killer, that one little bite is all it takes to make you slowly fall down. But guess what? That whole story is wrong. So what is the real secret weapon it's been hiding all along? And here's the amazing part. This animal's mom is unbelievable. She doesn't need a dad at all. All by herself, she can have babies. How on earth does she do that? Want to find out? Hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss it next time, and share it with your best friend. I'm Dr. Gray Parrot. Thanks for coming to the Animal Truth Lab. See you next time. Bye-bye.